Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are in good. Today is 24th of September 2020. Day is a Thursday. I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by Thomas Jefferson. One man with courage is a majority. Observe your surrounding. You will find, if you observe it for a week, let's say, you will find so many people, majority of people in today's era, they are afraid of small petty things. They don't have small amount of courage to do things that they love to do. So if you have courage, then you are in yourself a majority. You will find very few people with courage, but those people are more than enough to create a positive impact in this world. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ team has designed a smart course. This smart course is for Civil Services Examination. It covers your pre as well as mains examination. And to find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application. Till 30th September 2020, EMI offer is also available. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my Telegram channel, and you can follow me on Facebook as well. On our table, we have 5 important articles that will go through some news items. So let's quickly start with a light touch. Now, recently, Government of India has said that it is going to bring out some more rules to tackle unlawful content and harm-causing disinformation in the digital media space. No doubt, dear friends, fake news has created riot-like situations in our country, and not just in our country. In various different parts of the world, we find the same thing. Misinformation, disinformation, fake news, all these things are like tools. They are used to either create riots, either to win political battles, or to create cracks or division between two communities in a given society. And there are so many other agendas in all these things in different parts of the world, in different societies. They have different agenda, but at the end of one thing that is common is there are few people, or there is a group who will make the most out of it. They will profit the most out of this sort of things by spreading misinformation and disinformation and fake news and harmful, or you can say violent or unlawful content. And no doubt this digital platform or this digital era, this Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google Plus, and there are so many other platforms, right? Many of you would be using various different platforms. So basically, the social networking sites, I can say SNS, social networking sites. So this SNS, they allow things to go viral. They provide this platform, and on this platform, when you post something, then it can be visible to millions of people around the world, depending on the reaction of people. How many people are reactive initially, how many of them are reacting, and if they are sharing it to someone else, and out of that, then you can say this whole viral thing going on. So you know how it works. Or if you don't know how it works, then you would be knowing this basic understanding. You would be having this basic understanding that things can go viral. Unfortunately, when we find fake, unlawful content, harm-causing disinformation going viral, then that can create bad things in society, and it can stay there for a very long period of time. And recently, there is a channel called Sudarshan TV. So there was this program going on Sudarshan TV. It was about this UPSC jihad. And Supreme Court is not happy at all with this Sudarshan TV's program. So finally, Supreme Court summoned the central government, and it asked what we need to do to control this media. But central government said that we need to regulate web-based digital media. That is the need of the hour. And our Minister of State for Information and Technology has said that Government of India is going to come out with Information Technology Intermediaries Guidelines Rules 2011 to make intermediaries more responsive and accountable. So who is an intermediary? I'll give you one example. Facebook, for example. So you are a user on FB. So FB is a platform. This is you, right? And this is a community called X, let's say. So you post something on Facebook and this will go viral, and you have said something bad about X community. So that will create, it will create harm to this X community. People will start hating this X community and so many other things. So this intermediary, that is Facebook, a company that is providing you this platform, it should make sure that this sort of information are detected and deleted as quickly as possible. So that's what government is trying to tell these platforms, that you need to look after. You are responsible. You have to be responsive as well as accountable. Responsive in the sense you have to detect this sort of hateful things, and then you have to unlawful or hateful or harm-causing disinformation, misinformation, fake news, right? Everything together. So when I say bad content, I'm talking about these things. So intermediaries, they have to be responsive in detecting and deleting this bad content, as well as they should be accountable. If they miss this thing, then they are accountable. They have to pay, or they will be penalized, let's say. Now the question is, are we witnessing fake news, misinformation, harm-causing disinformation, or this bad content only after the arrival of digital, web-based digital media? The answer is no. We have seen riots earlier on as well. It is part of human nature to exaggerate things. I'm sure you know many people around you, they have this habit of exaggerating things, and we have observed this. It means there was a time when Google and everything was not that common. People used to say so many things about the things that you don't know about. Like someone will say that in USA you have this and that, and you will get this and that, and things like that. But we have never been to USA. We don't watch program on USA. We have not read books on USA. So if that person is saying something to us, and if that person's relative is living in USA, then we have to believe that person. But now, if you find that something is not logical, then you can Google it. You can go on the internet and check out whether that person is saying right or wrong. But that as well is limited to those people who are curious enough. You find very few people. Most of them, even today, we accept whatever is said to us, and we never question things. This is a very strange thing. And this is also a very strange thing, that we believe everything that is written. It's not always right that if you find things on internet, then that is authenticate. There is a thing called peer reviewing. There is a thing called references. So if you get a message on WhatsApp, then that is not always right. Someone has designed it in such a way that that may look positive or right, but it's not always right. It can be a fake news. So with more regulation, I don't think so we will be able to sort it out. Right, to an extent, yes, I would say we can see a little bit of difference, but just regulation is not going to help. The reason I'm saying this thing is because regulation is one part, implementation is the most important thing. I can design best rules and regulations, but if no one is following it, or if I'm not enforcing or implementing it, then that is not going to be of any use. Second interesting point and important point that we need to keep in mind is that internet, the good side of internet is a free sharing of information and ideas. In the name of regulating, we don't want to see a situation where things are censored. We don't want government to create more layers of censorship, right? Because internet has helped all of us as a society to move on. It has provided us new opportunities, new business opportunities, new educational opportunities, and so many other things. So we don't want government to create censor boards and layers that even if we want to post or something, then it will go through government's approval, and so that will be against this idea of free speech. Then one more thing, that implementation should be uniform. It should not be politically biased. This is the most important thing. And the last point is investment. There are so many big names. They have invested huge amount of money in our country. So after every few weeks, or let's say after every few months, if we are bringing out rules and regulations, if we are changing rules of this game, then that will create a trouble for this investors, and then they will be afraid, and then that will create a negative image of our country. So people or institutions or organizations will stay away from our country when it comes to investment, because they will feel that government of India will come out with something new every few months. So that is not a place where we can get predictability. So we need to keep that thing in mind as well. So that's basically everything about this topic. Now let's move on. But before that, dear friends, please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now the second one is unlocking campuses. University Grants Commission has revised academic calendar for the year 2020-21. And this calendar is out now. So as per this calendar, from 1st November, undergraduate, first year undergraduate and postgraduate students, you can start teaching them. And this calendar provides three options. One is offline, online, or you can have a blended model. So it is up to an organization or this educational institution can decide what is best for them, offline, online, or mix of both. Now in USA, we have the numbers that are coming from USA indicates that on an average 3,000 cases, there has been an addition of an average of 3,000 cases after unlocking or allowing these educational institutions to operate. In Britain as well, teachers' unions voiced deep concern over poor preparedness ahead of school reopening in September. The cases are going a little bit high in UK as well. Now, if we go through this UGC campus calendar, then the things that it is asking our educational institutions to follow, for that we have to do things that are done by countries like Germany, Denmark, Norway. So first is you need to provide a free RT-PCR testing. And the second thing is contact tracing. Now, I don't think so government is having that much energy at present to do contact tracing. So that is not possible, and RT-PCR testing is also going to take time. It's not going to be that easy. So not sure whether this is the right time to start educational institutions. Because the thing is there are many students who live in multi-generational households, so they can bring this coronavirus to their home, and this can affect their elderly members of their home, like grandfather or grandmother. So government should be, I think we need to plan ahead. I think this is my personal opinion. We need some more time. We need to find some other way through which we can restart educational institutions, because even countries like UK, they are also alternative days you have to visit schools, and teachers are also not feeling that much comfortable. Overall, I'm saying overall, they're also finding it quite difficult to manage things. So just in the name of running, or just in the name of opening campuses and educational institution, is not going to be enough. If you're opening, if you're taking all these risks, and if the quality of education is not delivered, then there is no point. Then the best thing is to stay home, to ask students to stay home and carry on with the things that they can do from home, rather than risking their family members, as well, particularly elderly people. Moving on to efficacy of female leadership. A very interesting article. So we have three countries on our screen, like name of three countries on our screen: Germany, Taiwan, New Zealand. A common thing about these three countries are that all three countries are headed by a female prime minister or chancellor or president. Now, I have one question for you. Can you give me the name of the president or prime minister, the head of the government I'm talking about, right? I'm not giving you any hint. I want you guys to stick the name of the head of government of Taiwan in the comment section, and New Zealand's prime minister's name in the comment section. In Germany, you have chancellor. The name is Angela Merkel. So she is very famous. So I know many of you would be knowing the name of Germany's chancellor, but let's see how many of you can get Taiwan's as well as New Zealand's head of the government's name right. So these three countries, they have this thing in common. They have female head of the government, and one more common thing is that when it comes to handling coronavirus, these three countries have delivered better results compared to their neighbors. Now, a detailed recent study. See, the word here is detailed. It's not just of any other study. A thorough study was conducted by researchers in United States, and this report, this study says that states like United States of America's provinces or states which have female governors had fewer COVID-19 related deaths compared to other states, and one of the main reason is perhaps partly because female governors acted more decisively by issuing earlier stay-at-home orders. The authors of the study conclude that women leaders are more effective than their male counterparts in times of crisis. Now, I don't agree with this thing. It's not like I'm not for women empowerment. I thoroughly support it. But the thing is, what we are doing here, this sort of studies, and this is my personal opinion, your opinion can be altogether different, or it could be totally different from what I'm saying, but I want you guys to think about it. The thing is, what we are doing in this study here is we are, if you analyze this thing deep down, what we are creating this versus type of situation, right? Comparing male with female or male versus female, and this is not right at all. Females are equal to men. I don't believe that, right? They are not equal. Male are not equal to female. Female are not equal to male. The reason is both of them are unique. In this competition, or in this versus scenario that we have created, we have forgot the most basic thing, that males, they have few good qualities. They are unique to males. Females, they have good qualities. They are limited to, or they are unique to females. And same thing goes with transgenders as well, right? So human beings, right, individually, if you're male, female, transgender, we all are unique in our own world. So first thing, and when you compare, let's say male and female, then the comparison is not possible because both of them are unique. So what we need is not this versus situation. We need a thing that can create a bridge between men and women, male and female, right? If you see a house that is in which the leader is female, then you will find some good things about that house. In the same way, the house where you have a male leader, you will find some good things in that house as well. But when you have this versus type situation, that is, this competition is the main thing that is creating problems, right? That's what I think. So generalization, what we are doing here is again generalization. So there again, when you say that women leaders are better or more effective than male leaders, then male leaders and male lobby will say that this is not right. Look at the history, look at the numbers, and then this argument will never end. We need collaboration. We don't need competition when it comes to males and females. Now, India's Gram Panchayats, if you study India's Gram Panchayats, then female leaders will bring something different to the table. Now, the reason we find this thing as bit different is because, see, in our country for a very long period of time, males have dominated political levels, various different, at Gram Panchayat level, at legislative level, at parliament level, executives, most of the executives, if you see. So it was all male dominated. So because it was male dominated, you will find things that are for males, right? So when a female sarpanch, if you have in a village, when you will have a female sarpanch, then chances are that she will do something about drinking water, because drinking water is not a job or task of most males, right? In our country, if I'm not wrong, let me again generalize, but I can say that 90% of household, if you see, then drinking water is managed by mothers or female members of a family. 90%, I'm saying. I can safely say 95%, but still, generalization sometimes is not always right. So let's say 90% females, they look after drinking water facilities or access to drinking water. So when you will have a female sarpanch, she will do something about drinking water facility, because that is a thing that is, affected. This is a topic that will create a positive impact on women's life. Nobel laureate Esther Duflo and co-author Raghavendra Chattopadhyay, they conducted a study. They used the system of mandated reservations of pradhans. This study, basically, they used this system of mandated reservations for pradhans in gram panchayats to test the effectiveness of female leadership. Now, right to vote is something that is with us in our country. Every citizen's got it as soon as we adopted this constitution. And this may sound very simple to us, but in countries like USA got its constitution back in 1786, and it took finally 1920 women got right to vote. So it's not that all democracies they add this universal suffrage system. But luckily in our country, and good thing, our country, right from the starting of this new constitution, new chapter, we adopted this universal suffrage. But that is not enough, right? The reason why it is not enough is because if we go through the next topic, we have one topic on democracy. I'll give you that example. Let me give you the example right now, so this will help you. Let's say it's all about capabilities and accessibility, right? If a lady or if a girl is coming from a very rich family, but she is not allowed education, then education is available, but you have not made her capable enough. You have not given her those opportunities through which she can explore, or she can reach to her potential or her peak. In our country, female members make up only 10% of total ministerial strength. Now, I must add this thing here that the current government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government, was the first government so far where we saw one defense minister as well as Minister of External Affairs. Two important ministers were female, Nirmala Sitharaman ji and late Sushma Swaraj ji. So, no doubt the current government is doing enough, but we will not see a big change until and unless party level, BJP, Congress, etc., other parties, they need to work. When they field a candidate, they need to have more female candidates. They need to field more female candidates. Then the chances of winning this means that party and that female candidates will win, and more female candidates will finally reach Legislative Assembly or Parliament. Women's reservation bill is also an important thing, but it's been pending from last 24 years. So what political parties can themselves do is they can have this 1/3 quota, and on top, if we pass this women's reservation bill, then that will be, that will create synergy. That political parties are also fielding more female candidates. At the same time, you have proper reservation, 1/3 reservation in your legislative assembly as well as your parliament as well as sarpanch elections. So this will bring more females. Seeing dystopia in India's democracy. United Nations declared 15th September as International Day of Democracy, and in our country we are living in a democracy. We are world's largest democracy, and things are not that great in our country. We cannot say we are living in utopia. Utopia is a state, it's like heaven, everything is perfect. Dystopia is like hell, everything is imperfect or bad. So it's not just enough that you are living in democracy. It's like you are living in a very luxurious house. From outside, the house is luxurious. From inside as well, the house is luxurious. But inhabitants, members of that house are not happy. So You don't want to live in that house, because what will matter is your happiness at the end of the day. Are you getting everything that you are entitled to in a democracy? If we go through United Nations World Happiness Report 2020, then we find that top 10 countries are heavily loaded with democracies of Western Europe. US barely edges into the top 20, but our country is 144 out of 153. Our rank is 144th. This is very bad, and see, government cannot do everything in democracy. In authoritarian world, yes, the government can do everything, because people will ask for something, government will say no. Here, government cannot deliver everything. People can, definitely, right? I have said this thing many times. It's our demand that will create supply in whatever we want. If you want corruption-free society, then each and every individual, or majority of us, 90%, 95%, people should be ready to give up corruption. They will not give, or they will not take money in corruption. If you have this sort of situation, then government, you don't have to create even laws as well, rules as well. Of course, if you have rules, that's a good thing. We need to have rules. I'm not saying that we don't need rules. What I'm saying is, see, we have rules for helmet. We have rules for wearing seatbelt. We have rules for not spitting on the road. We have rules for not destroying public property and so many things. But rules are of no use if people are not respecting or implementing them, or if you are not able to implement them properly. Liberty and capability. These are the two important things. You need to have both of them. Just one is not enough. Like in our country, we have liberty. Formally, we have liberty to speak whatever we like. Formally, we have liberty to take part in election, right? But are we capable enough? Again, I would like to give you that example of a girl child living, or the girl child's birth takes place in a very prosperous family, rich family, right? They have wealth, they have everything, food security, everything. But this family, they have their own rituals, they have their own belief system, that they don't allow girls to study after 7th standard. Right? Once your primary education is done, that's it. You don't need to go to school. So here you have capacity, right? But you are not allowing, or there is no capability. In the same way, in our country, we have capacity. In our country, we have this liberty. We have this liberty to speak. We have this liberty to vote, everything. But when you vote for someone, are you capable enough to get rid of that person if that person has done something wrong? No. So that is the problem. So liberty and capability are conjoined as the ultimate aspiration in a democracy. Recently, an agency reported that a representative of this state, Andhra Pradesh, basically one political leader in Andhra Pradesh, what he did is, when a doctor said that we don't have enough, in a review meeting, when a doctor said that we don't have enough beds, then this representative said that I will throw you behind the bars. He threatened the doctor with arrest if you say something like this. So this is a clear example that there are so many other examples, like dystopia is, we want to see ourselves in utopia, but we need to correct so many things. So many bad things are also going on in our society, isn't it? The last one is about mental health. See, in any society, this applies to our country as well. We have poor people, but within poor, not every poor is same. In poor as well, you have categories. There is one person who is poor, who is not having his own house. He does not have any land. So what he is doing is, he is manual labor. He's working in a factory, or he's working for someone else, domestic help maybe. He's earning his bread and butter every day, and he is feeding his or her family, and that's basically everything, right? They cannot afford new clothes, but they can survive. They will get food. They will work enough. They will get food. They have worked for 365 days. Then you have one person who is poor, same condition, but the thing is, he or she cannot find work for 365 days. he or she can find work for only, let's say, 260 days. So the rest 100 days, roughly speaking, are going to be very bad. So in a week, this person or his or her family will be in a situation where they cannot afford meal. Then you have few families where they have only three, let's say out of 365 days they find work for 100 days or 150 days. So these are few examples. Now the worst case scenario is of that person who is poor and he or she is suffering from mental disease. The sad thing in our society is that if someone has broken leg or arm, then you will feel that person's pain. You will sympathize with that person, that something has gone wrong with that person or how it happened, and you will inquire like what went wrong and things. But when someone is mentally, we take fracture is something that is, bone fracture is taken as medical thing. But if someone is suffering from mental health issue, then we say that that person is mad or crazy and he's weak. How can he be this and that? And so we are not taking, even today in our society, and this is not just with uneducated people, educated people as well. They very easily say that we don't consider in our society mental illness as medical thing. We consider it something wrong with that person's character or their fate. Homelessness and hopelessness. If you are homeless, if you don't have work, then that will generate hopelessness, and this will create stress. It will impact your mental health. It will impact your well-being as well. It will destroy your body. It will destroy your soul to an extent, and it will destroy your well-being. So within this context, distinctly deprived are homeless persons living with mental illness, right? They face violence, sexual assault, and so many other things. Now UN has set up a fund of $2 billion, and this is to alleviate the distress of ultra vulnerable, including those living with disability or chronic illness. In Tamil Nadu government has created 10 more ECRC, that is Emergency Care and Recovery Centers. They already have 5 centers, ECRC centers. Now 10 more are created. And Department of Health, the National Health Mission, Institute of Mental Health in Chennai, the Banyan, the Mental Health Care Establishment. Together, they pursue the goal of improving mental health access and mitigating social and opportunity losses. So it's good that we find this sort of institutions, government institutions, central, state, as well as private institutions together coming up and looking after the most vulnerable. This capacity that we find in Tamil Nadu, it will treat some 1,000 people per year. So that is not bad at all. But we need some more institutions like this in various different states of our country. And it is an ongoing thing, continuous process that we have to keep on doing, and we have to at the same time create this awareness that mental health is not associated with weakness, right? Mental health is a medical thing, and let professionals look after it rather than those people who know nothing about it passing comments and making that vulnerable person a bit more vulnerable. News items. Prime Minister to interact online with fitness influencers and citizens at Fit India Dialogue today. Government raises limit for use of SDRF funds by states from 35% to 50%. So 15% more addition will be a big help for states. Unfortunately, Minister of State Railways Suresh Angadi dies of COVID-19. So that's a very sad thing. G4 countries call for decisive push for UN Security Council reforms. Now, see, this thing is this G4 countries. We were talking about it yesterday. I asked you a question as well. Give me the name of this G4 countries, and most of you have passed the answer too. PASEX. It's a passage exercise conducted between Indian Navy and Australian Navy. In Eastern, this time it is underway in Eastern Indian Ocean, and Jal Shakti Minister GS Shekhawat holds virtual meeting with UP and MP ministers to expedite implementation of Ken Betwa Link project. And that's everything from my side. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.